Trayvon Bromell, an absolute flyer out of the blocks. Christian Coleman going well in lane 2 as well. Ferdinand Omanyala trying to stretch away from this field. The Kenyan gets it done, 9:93.
The finish line was still 10 meters away. Ferdinand Omanyala had already spread his arms wide open. Not hoping, not guessing, knowing. That moment at the Xiamen Diamond League on May 23, 2026 told you everything the sprint world needed to hear. This man is back. And he is not the same person they remembered. Rewind to 2025. The entire year, every race, every Diamond League, every start. Omanyala did not run the 100 meters in under 10 seconds. Not once. This is the man who owns the African record at 9.77 seconds. A man who was once the 10th fastest human being in history. And for a full calendar year, that same man could not break 10 seconds. The critics got loud. The narratives got brutal. People said his best days were behind him. Some said he was finished. And honestly, looking at the results, it was hard to argue. But while the world was writing his obituary, Omanyala was in a gym somewhere tearing the whole thing apart. He scrapped the training program completely. He added heavier loading sessions to rebuild raw power from the ground up. Then he made the biggest call of all. He left Kenya entirely and moved his preparation base to South Africa. New environment, new energy, different results. He also made the most important phone call of his career. He rang Duncan Ayemba, the same coach who guided him to that 9.77 African record back in 2021. The reunion was quiet. The results were anything but. 2026 started, and the signals came fast. Sub 10. Sub 10 again. Sub 10 a third time. All before the Diamond League season even opened. Then came Shanghai. And this is where the story gets genuinely hard to believe. Omanyala was not even supposed to be in that race. He stepped in at the last minute as a replacement for Cashin Thompson. When the lanes were drawn, he pulled lane 8. The furthest outside lane on the track. The lane where you cannot see a single competitor beside you. You are completely alone out there. And look at who was standing in those other lanes. Lyles Tebogo, the Paris 2024 Olympic 200-meter champion. Akani Simbine, a man who has reached 3 consecutive Olympic and 100-meter finals. Trayvon Bromell, Christian Coleman. That is not a race. That is a firing squad. Omanyala stepped into it from the worst lane as a last-minute substitute and nearly won. Gift Lyles of South Africa edged him right at the line. 9,097 to 9.98. 1/100th of a second. The width of a fingernail. But look at what happened behind him. Tebogo crossed in 10.12. Simbine clocked 10.05. Coleman came home in 10.19. An Olympic 200-meter champion and a 3-time Olympic finalist finished behind a man in lane 8 who was not even originally entered in the race. That was his 4th sub-10 run of 2026 after going the entire 2025 season without one. Then came Xiamen. 1 week later, same faces across those lanes. Very different story. Trayvon Bromell got the cleanest start, and for the first 30 meters it looked like his race to lose. Then, somewhere between the 30 and 50-meter mark, Omanyala shifted into something else entirely. The knees came higher. The stride opened up, and he simply started pulling away from some of the most decorated sprinters on the planet. Bromell finished 3rd in 10.03. Lyles came 2nd in 10.0. Omanyala crossed in 9.93 seconds. His 5th sub-10 performance of 2026. And with 10 meters still to run, the arms were already wide. He was not celebrating a close win. He was confirming what he already knew. When asked about his rivals after the race, his answer was short and brutal. None of them. Because I have beaten all of them. He carried that exact energy into Rome. The Golden Gala Diamond League at the Stadio Olimpico on June 4, 2026. 60,000 people packed inside one of the most historic athletics venues on earth. Before the race, Omanyala sat down with Nation Sport and made a promise. He said the roof at the Stadio Olimpico will blow off. The field waiting for him was everything. Noah Lyles, the reigning 2024 Paris Olympic 100-meter champion. Marcel Jacobs, the Tokyo 2020 Olympic champion, racing in front of his own crowd. Lyles Tebogo. Jordan Anthony, the world indoor 60-meter champion who came in with the fastest time in the field at 9.91 seconds. Lyles won it in 9.95. Omanyala crossed second in 10.11. Jacobs third in 10.16. Now here is how you need to read that result. In 2024, Omanyala ran 10.08 in Rome and finished 7th. In 2025, he ran 10.01 and finished 3rd. In 2026, he finished 2nd, behind only the Olympic champion. He beat the Tokyo 2020 Olympic champion on Italian soil in front of 60,000 of that man's own supporters. The direction of this story is not subtle, and remember, this is a man who ran 0 sub-10 performances across the entire 2025 season. He now has 5 in 2026 alone, with summer still ahead. The 2026 World Athletics Championships are coming. The Commonwealth Games are coming. Noah Lyles is not sleeping. Tebogo is not sleeping. Thompson is not sleeping. But right now, in the summer of 2026, nobody on earth is moving with more controlled aggression than Ferdinand Omanyala. He studied the fall. He engineered the rebuild. He walked into Shanghai from lane 8 as a substitute and nearly stole the race. He then dominated that same elite field 1 week later in Xiamen with his arms open before the finish line. He pushed the Olympic champion hard in Rome and finished 2nd. Africa's fastest man is no longer chasing the conversation. He is leading it. Noah Lyles still wears the crown. But Ferdinand Omanyala is no longer asking for permission to take it.
5 times she was nominated, 5 times she walked away empty-handed. This year, Shelly-Ann Fraser-Pryce finally broke that curse, and the track and field world is still talking about it. For an athlete who has spent nearly 2 decades rewriting what is possible in women's sprinting, this is the one trophy that had somehow kept slipping away until now. The Jamaican sprint queen, nicknamed the Pocket Rocket, just claimed the Laureus World Sportswoman of the Year award, one of the hardest prizes to win in all of sports. Since this award started back in 2000, only a short list of legends has ever lifted it. Names like Lionel Messi, Serena Williams, Tiger Woods, and Roger Federer. Now Fraser-Pryce belongs in that same company. To understand why this win means so much, you have to go back to where it all started. Fraser-Pryce stepped onto the world stage at the 2007 World Championships in Osaka, called up as a reserve on Jamaica's 4x100-meter relay team, and helped them cross the line for silver. Nobody expected what happened next. Just 1 year later, at the 2008 Beijing Olympics, she stunned everyone by becoming the first Caribbean woman in history to win Olympic gold in the 100 meters. That single race changed everything for her. Even her selection for that 2008 team had been questioned. Veterans like Veronica Campbell-Brown were the safer bet on paper, and plenty of people doubted a young Fraser-Pryce belonged on that start line. She silenced every one of them in Beijing and never looked back. Over the next decade, she turned herself into one of the most dominant sprinters the sport has ever produced. In 2013, she pulled off something almost nobody manages, winning gold in the 100 metes, 200 metes, and 4x100 metes relay at the very same World Championships. By 2017, after 10 full seasons, she had already collected 9 World Championship titles and 6 Olympic medals across the 100 meters, 200 meters, and the relay. Most careers would end there as a triumph. Hers was just getting started. Then she became a mother. Her son Zion was born, and almost everyone assumed retirement was next. Instead, she returned 2 years later faster and hungrier than before, and fans gave her a new nickname, Mommy Rocket. At the 2017 Anniversary Games in London, she ran 10.78 seconds, becoming one of the only mothers ever to break 11 seconds in the 100 meters. 2 years after that, at the 2019 World Championships in Doha, she won gold again, making her the first mother in 24 years to claim a global 100 meters title. She added a relay gold in Doha too, just to make her point louder. By 2021, she had rewritten the record books once more, clocking 10.63 seconds, the second fastest 100 mean ever run by a woman. The only sprinter faster is the legendary Florence Griffith Joyner, who ran 10.49 seconds all the way back in 1988. That record has stood for over 3 decades, and Fraser-Pryce is the closest anyone has ever gotten to breaking it. That same year wasn't perfect. She came away with silver at the Tokyo Olympics, but she answered straight back at the Doha Diamond League, posting a season best of 10.84 seconds, and reminding everyone she still had plenty left to give. Then came 2022, the season that finally forced the Laureus Committee to pay attention. She ran sub 10.7 in the 100 meters 7 separate times that year. She broke 22 seconds in the 200 meters twice. At the Commonwealth Games in Birmingham, she won both the 100 meters and 200 meters, smashing the game's records in each event. At the World Championships in Eugene, Oregon, she won the 100 meters in 10.67 seconds, a championship record, and her 5th individual world title in that single event. More than any sprinter in history has ever won. She wasn't done either, adding a silver in the 200 ms and another silver in the relay. To close out the season, she lined up against her fiercest rival, Shericka Jackson, at the Diamond League final in Zurich. Running into a headwind, she clocked 10.65 seconds, which converts to a legal equivalent of 10:60, the fastest adjusted time of her entire career. Out of 12 100 mean races that season, she lost only 4. She posted the 8 fastest times in the world that year. Nobody else came close. A season like that doesn't just win medals, it wins respect from people who had spent over a decade overlooking her. After 5 nominations and 5 quiet rejections, the Laureus voters finally had no choice but to hand her the trophy. It wasn't sympathy, it was earned, race after race, season after season. What makes this story even bigger is everything she has done off the track. She launched the Pocket Rocket Foundation back in 2013, putting her own time and money into supporting young athletes across Jamaica. She mentors the next generation instead of guarding her spot at the top, which is rare in a sport this brutal. So when people ask why this award matters so much, the answer is simple. This is not a participation prize. This is recognition for a girl who started as a relay reserve in Osaka and turned herself into the most decorated female sprinter of her generation, a record-chasing, history-making competitor who refused to slow down even after motherhood, even after being counted out, even after being passed over 5 times for the one award